Is a psychiatric diagnosis going to help my patient or hurt them? This is one of the most important questions that I think about as a psychiatrist. Sometimes when someone comes for answers and you give them a diagnosis, it is so empowering and healing because they understand for all this time, all these things they've been going through, it's not their fault. There is a process, there is a diagnosis, there's something we can intervene on and work on and help them heal. But I've spoken to a lot of patients who've been to psychiatrists and get diagnoses and feel really unheard, invalidated, judged, blamed, and labeled. Sometimes I wonder if I've been that psychiatrist and they're telling someone else about their interaction with me. Here's the way that I think about it, and here's how I go about giving people diagnoses. Let's talk about depression, for example. I never tell my patients that they have depression. That's like saying they have a broken leg. Well, you can have a leg. You have your leg. Depression isn't quite like that. It's something you experience, not something you have. Now, if someone has bipolar disorder and they have this biological drive that's going to make them depressed and make them manic depending on different conditions, that's different. But not all depression is bipolar depression. Not all depression is major depression. What I try to do is build a story for my patients. We try to do that together. Try to understand, why are you experiencing depression? Sometimes a big part of that story is biologic, but many times it's not that biologic. Sometimes that manifestation of depression is something that was protecting you in earlier life. Sometimes it's not something that's protecting you, but there is a reason for it to be there. You have to ask those questions, I think. I think part of it is the more cognitive behavioral aspect of figuring out what to do and how to change your behavior so that you heal. But there is something intrinsically human about seeking meaning in the struggles that we have. And I feel like one of the most privileged things about being a psychiatrist is being able to be a part of people's search for meaning. As long as I give a diagnosis in a way that creates meaning rather than obfuscates meaning. And in my experience, those diagnoses tend to be helpful and healing. But I'm curious what you think. Leave a comment and help me get better.